Emma Thompson, or Nanny McPhee, whichever one you prefer, now seems to be a mighty voice for the release of the British mother in Iran. He did make a massive error and make matters worse, but why won't Boris Johnson jump on that plane and speak to Tehran in the hope for her release? Does he not want to upset them? And if so, why not? Well, hopefully, this is my opinion, and I'm about to tell you why. Boris Johnson, it is said by many newspapers, that he's being almost blackmailed into handing over £400 million back to Iran over an arms deal that went wrong way back in 1979. But is it blackmail for the release of Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe? In 2001, an international court ordered the UK to reimburse that said £400 million to Tehran after the Ministry of Defence backtracked in 1979 on a deal to sell Chieftain tanks to Iran, but then failed to pay the money back. Margaret Thatcher was Prime Minister, so lo and behold, the Conservatives scuppered another country out of massive amounts of money. Surprise, surprise. But why won't Boris Johnson do more for the release of the British mother? Why is it seen that he's not doing enough? Why is he hanging about? After all, he was the one that made the matters worse. Boris Johnson travelled to Washington in the early part of November in a bid to persuade US senators not to abandon the Iranian nuclear deal or to impose fresh sanctions against Tehran that could jeopardise that very deal. But why is he so adamant that the US maintain the deal after the Secretary of State Rex Tillerson repeatedly stated that the US decision about whether to end the agreement, signed in 2015, will be based on a wider assessment of Iranian behaviour, including in Yemen and Syria, and not just on whether Tehran is complying with the strict terms of the deal. But it seems Boris wants to press on in maintaining that deal, and it appears he doesn't want to upset Tehran over Nazanin. It seems he is more interested in playing middleman in this arms deal. But let's take that. What does an arms middleman do? Well, he performs 4 basic tasks. One of them, and the most important I feel, is that he brings together buyers and sellers of weapons and military equipment, rather like an estate agent brings together buyers and sellers of a property. And arms middlemen are paid in the same way, sources say, as Hollywood producers. They earn points. 1 point is 1% of an arms deal value. On small deals, a middleman earns anywhere from 1 to 10 points. On large deals, swarms of middlemen divide up honeypots that sometimes equal 25% of the value of a deal. So is Boris Johnson worried about any financial favours he may get as a possible middleman in uniting a country that wants to sell arms to another country that wants to buy? Allegedly, Mark Thatcher made millions of pounds from Britain's huge Al-Yamamah arms deal with Saudi Arabia, signed in 1985 by his mother, Margaret Thatcher, when she was Prime Minister. The deal, which involved more than £20 billion in sales of Tornado fighter bombers and naval vessels, is believed to have been the largest in history, and the money Mark Thatcher is said to have made from helping to broker it was allegedly £12 million, and many have said this would explain his sudden rise to massive amount of wealth. The allegations for this were supported in an investigation by the Sunday Times. The paper says by transcripts of tape recordings made by Saudi intelligence agents while monitoring rival bids by Britain, France and the United States to supply the Saudis with arms. But the Al-Yamamah arms deal was later investigated by the head of the National Audit Office, Sir John Bourne. But surprise, surprise, the Houses of Commons Public Accounts Committee declined to publish the report after its chairman, believe it or not, the Labour MP Robert Sheldon, had held secret talks with the Ministry of Defence. The MOD invoked arguments of national security to veto publication of the report. Defending the decision not to publish, Mr Sheldon said there had been no evidence of fraud or corruption. But then Dr. Kim Howells, a member of the PAC at the time, said there were allegations flying about all over the place, and they specifically included allegations that Mark Thatcher had been one of the main middlemen in the whole deal, and there was a hint that his mother had paved the way for him. He then added, and most importantly, I can believe it. Everyone said he was not the major middleman, that he was set to make more out of it than any other British middleman. Boris Johnson is not stepping up to the plate on trying to get Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe. Is he the middleman in the Tehran arms deal? Be a shame to upset them, wouldn't it? Especially if, well, you know. And of course, not giving the money back for the arms deal in 1979, that's technically theft, isn't it? From our own government of days gone by. But basically the same party as we have now. Surely our government wouldn't commit theft from another country. Take a trip down to Tesco's tomorrow and just take £60 worth of shopping, but give the checkout person £40 and walk out. And when the guard stops you, just refuse to give the produce back and see what he says. Boris Johnson. Let's just see if he gets a bit happier as time goes by, especially if that arms deal is delivered. Let's know in the comments below what you think. Do you think, or have you seen any indication from Boris that he is moving towards the release? Don't forget to click subscribe. That's the only way you may be able to get your voice heard. At the end of this month, I will do just that. One video aimed on everyone else hearing your comments. Click subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye bye for now.